Welcome to the Midland Fire Department Candidate Physical Ability Test. You may not perform the exercises in the order shown. Exercise number 1, Entry-Level Aerobic. This task evaluates your ability or inability to sustain a minimum level of physical exertion over an extended time. Candidates must run a course of approximately 1 mile on uneven terrain in 10 minutes or less. This task should be performed in continuous motion. Cessation of continuous motion is determined by the evaluator and will be cause for failure to complete task. Aerial climb. This task is designed to ascertain the presence or absence of fear of heights. Wearing a bunker coat, ladder safety belt, fire helmet, and SCBA without mask, candidates will ascend to the top of the ladder, grasping each rung in the process. The top rung must be grasped with both hands, and then upon signal of the evaluator, the candidate will lock in with the ladder safety belt on the next to the last rung, unlock belt, and then descend the ladder. The angle of the ladder will be set at an approximate angle of 70% and an approximate tip height of 65 feet above ground. This task should be performed in continuous motion. Cessation of continuous motion is determined by the evaluator and will be cause for failure to complete task. Emphasis is placed on safety, not speed. The average time to complete this task is 1 minute and 45 seconds. The candidate will be allowed 3 minutes to ensure safety. Time will begin when the candidate places a foot on the skid plate of the ladder and will end when the candidate has completed full ladder ascending and descending and has placed both feet on the platform. Confined space. This task is designed to ascertain the presence of claustrophobia in the candidate and the candidate's ability to work in tight places. Wearing a fire helmet, bunker coat, bunker pants, fire gloves, and SCBA mask, the candidate will climb into a manhole, crawl through the 24-inch pipe connected to another manhole, rattle the PVC pipe, turn around, and return to the bottom of the entrance manhole. This task should be performed in continuous motion. Cessation of continuous motion is determined by the evaluator and will be cause for failure to complete task. Time will begin when applicant releases grasp of ladder at bottom of entrance manhole and will stop when the candidate places a foot on the bottom ladder rung to begin exiting the manhole. Rescue, carry, drag. This task evaluates the candidate's ability to perform rescues. Wearing a bunker coat, fire helmet, fire gloves, and SCBA without mask, the candidate must drag a mannequin to and around a pylon and back. This task should be performed in continuous motion. Cessation of continuous motion is determined by the evaluator and will be cause for failure to complete task. The mannequin must be dragged completely around the outside pylon with neither the candidate nor the mannequin touching the pylon. Any movement of the pylon caused by the candidate or the mannequin coming in contact with the pylon will be cause for failure to complete task. Time will begin when the candidate's first steps past the start point and will end when the mannequin is completely beyond the finish point. 2.5 dry line slack pull. This task evaluates the candidate's ability to advance medium diameter hand lines to an elevated landing. Wearing bunker coat, fire gloves, and SCBA without mask, the candidate shall grasp the supplied 2.5-inch hose and pull the hose line in a hand-over-hand fashion so that the hose is taken over the shoulder until 3 sections of hose have been brought to the second floor landing. This task is to be completed standing fully erect with no bending over. Bending over will be determined by any part of the candidate's body other than the arms extending over the railing. Candidate will be disqualified for bending over more than once during the performance of the task. Exercise should be performed in a continuous motion. Cessation of continuous motion is determined by the evaluator and will be cause for failure to complete task. All tasks must be successfully completed with full control of equipment and props. Failure to maintain control of the hose will be cause for failure to complete task. This task must be completed in a time of 1 minute and 15 seconds or less. Time will begin when candidate grasps the hose and will stop when the last coupling has crossed the top railing of the second landing. One 3/4-inch hose carry. This task evaluates the candidate's ability to carry small diameter fire hose. Wearing a bunker coat, fire gloves, and SCBA without mask, the candidate must pick up 150 feet of 1 3/4-inch hose with nozzle attached. Place the hose bundle on the shoulder and carry to the 5th floor via the interior stairwell and exit to the 5th floor landing. This task should be performed in a continuous motion. Cessation of continuous motion is determined by the evaluator and will be cause for failure to complete task. Candidate must not skip any steps while climbing in the stairwell. Skipping more than one step during the ascent will be cause for failure to complete task. Time will begin when the candidate's foot touches the concrete slab at the door entry, and time will end when the candidate and hose bundle are completely on the 5th floor exterior landing. 35-foot extension ladder hoist. This task evaluates the candidate's ability to hoist fly sections of medium-length ground ladders. Wearing a bunker coat, SCBA without mask, and fire helmet, gloves are optional. The candidate must hoist the fly section of 35-foot extension ladder to the maximum extension and lower to the point that the ladder lock mechanism is engaged. The candidate must then lower the fly sections to their original positions. This task should be performed in a continuous motion. Cessation of continuous motion is determined by the evaluator and will be cause for failure to complete task. Candidate must perform this task by standing in an upright position, no squatting, and candidate's feet must maintain contact with the ground. No warnings will be given for squatting or feet leaving the ground and will be cause for failure to complete task. All tasks must be successfully completed with full control of equipment and props. Failure to maintain control of ladder fly sections will be cause for failure to complete task. This task must be completed in a time of 1 minute and 15 seconds or less. Time will begin when the candidate grasps the rope of the ladder and ends when the candidate has lowered the fly sections to their original positions and candidate releases the ladder rope. Hydrant operation, ejector hang. This task evaluates the candidate's ability to operate hydrants and manipulate equipment. Wearing a fire helmet, bunker coat, fire gloves, and SCBA without mask, and using a hydrant wrench, the candidate must open a hydrant, counting out loud with each revolution of the hydrant wrench. The candidate must then close the hydrant. The candidate must then pick up a smoke ejector and hang smoke ejector on a designated doorway, ensuring that the smoke ejector remains in place, and then return the ejector to its original spot. This task should be performed in a continuous motion. Cessation of continuous motion is determined by the evaluator and will be cause for failure to complete task. All tasks must be successfully completed with full control of equipment and props. Failure to maintain control of the smoke ejector will be cause for failure to complete task. Time will begin when the candidate picks up the hydrant wrench, and time will end when the candidate places the smoke ejector in the hanging position and releases grasp.